It all began quietly enough until Ian slammed the report on the desk live on air. Billions of pounds of taxpayers' money wasted on asylum hotels. Across the desk, James ERUPTS' trademark smirk vanished, replaced by disbelief and fury. "You couldn't make this up, Ian," he snapped, voice trembling. But Ian fired back, louder, accusing James of defending a system bleeding the country dry. What followed was a fiery, blistering on-air clash: anger versus sarcasm, reason versus sheer frustration. Then, just when you thought it couldn't escalate further, James dropped one line that froze the studio. "So what do you think? Was Ian right to explode, or did James simply say what everyone else was too afraid to?" Speech Balloon, tell us in the comments, whose side are you on?
Did you know over 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed? Subscribing is free and helps us create more great content. Hit subscribe now and join our community.
We come back to the Home Office story, and this £46 million that the Home Office has owed but hasn't attempted to recoup, we understand. This is from 2 contracts. So it does lead to the question, doesn't it? Well, where else is our taxpayer money being wasted? Where else is money being squandered? Because this is just 2 contracts.
Yeah, it's true. It does make you wonder. There's a lot of media focus on the moment at the government's attempt to recoup the money from the company that Michelle Mone was associated with, and that's very headline-grabbing, and lots of people will say that's a very good thing. But you're right. All these things are going under the radar. The amount of wastage that happens in government would make, if I had any hair, it would all fall out.
You see, this is why I can't stand listening to people like Rachel Reeves about saying the expenditure and our commitments to this, and we need to keep the spending up and whatever. I say I could walk into the Treasury Department now immediately and say, give me those first 10 files. No, yes, forget it. Absolutely. Are you trying to tell me you couldn't save money in the government?
Well, I would love to see you as Chancellor, Eamon, for a start. You would be superb. But you're right. There's an awful lot that seems to just disappear. A bit like, you know, we've been hearing 60% of water disappears through leakage from the Victorian pipes. The system of government is faulty and enables a massive squandering of our money. That's what's really enraging, is it's our money that seems to be so carelessly handled. They're not looking after it. And this hotel story exemplifies that.
Yeah. We had this report last week, didn't we, into the Home Office saying that it was dysfunctional and detached from its core functions, and that the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, was saying, look, it's not yet fit for purpose, but I can fix it. Do you think that this is potentially beyond repair?
Well, possibly. I mean, they say it's the worst job in government, the Home Office, because whatever you do, you get grief from either side. And I think she is making a difference. She's certainly tough on immigration. She's making all the right noises on that.
Is it just hot air, though?
Well, it's early days. She's only been Home Secretary for a few weeks, but Labour is hemorrhaging votes to reform at the moment, according to the polls. They have to do something about it, or they're going to be wiped out. All those red wall seats will fall to reform, and the 180-seat majority that Starmer enjoyed just a year ago, just over a year ago, will be wiped out. So they've got to do something about it, and
he'll be wiped out with it.
He will.
And I think the longer things go on, the more inept he is seen to be. He is a people pleaser. He travels around the world kissing everybody's backside, but not leading anything.
It's very funny. He is much more highly regarded abroad. You know, people say, oh, look what he's doing with Zelensky and how brilliantly he's finessed it with Trump and how wonderful he is with the EU, all of which may be true, but to most voters, that's a secondary issue. Of course, we care about the war in Ukraine. It's massively important for the future of Europe.
But people care more, and I may sound being cruel here, but the fact is, people care more about the migrant boats than anything else.
And they also care about what Harold Wilson used to call the pound in their pocket. You know, the cost of living.
Things that affect their lives on a daily basis.
And people who are having to go to food banks from previously middle-class existences, people who are struggling to pay the rent, that whole terrible phrase, heat or eat. You know, you either heat your flat or you buy food. Those are absolutely unthinkable choices.
My question is, how will people afford Christmas this year? I mean, a serious question.
I don't know. I mean, it's traditionally the best time of the year for the family. Families always make an effort to splash out, but then get into debt for the next few months because they're so keen for their children to have the most memorable time. But I agree, Eamon, that is a looming crisis, and it will really sharpen people's minds about the way that Labour is failing on the economy.
OK. And the budget's, what, a month away?
Yeah. 26th of November.
Good luck with that.
Well, look, good luck with you. Stay on with us, We're going to try and get some feedback as to what James is saying. If you agree, disagree, have your say, right? It's all about having your say, and we will reflect that if you get in touch with us.
Well, the Home Office has given us this statement saying the government is furious about the number of illegal migrants in this country and in hotels. That is why we will close every single asylum hotel, saving the taxpayer billions of pounds. We have already taken action, closing hotels, slashing asylum costs by nearly £1 billion, and exploring the use of military bases and disused properties.
So who's going to have their local military base transformed? I mean, this is all nonsense. All these statements, they mean
Who would be happy to
absolutely
see
nothing.
that? Yeah.
Because, again, James, forgive me for bringing you back in here.
Quite happy.
But, you know, if there's an old RAF base beside you or whatever, and someone says, right, we're going to move 2,000 migrants into that, does the local community accept that? I don't think so.
Yes, I mean, we look at what's happened in Epping, you know, there are, and all over the country, actually, there have been protests about that. So that's a really delicate diplomatic issue for the government to try and convince people that it's in the national interest to allow people into the country and to stay on these disused bases. But you're right, a huge kind of people-pleasing exercise will have to take place in order to convince people that it's OK.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Next UK, your go-to for real stories and sharp analysis.